What up guys, Zack again. I'm going to be installing a 30 amp 240 volt plug. Typically you see these in dryers, that's the most common place I install them. They can obviously be used for other applications. If you look at it here, it's got a silver screw, gold screw, green screw, another gold screw. If we look at these wires, I have my ground, the copper, I have a black, a white, and a red. So I'm going to take my strippers. I'm going to use the 12-2 slot. This is 10 gauge wire, so it's not actually for this, but I'm going to lightly press on it and rotate it around, and it'll come right off. You don't want to do it too hard. If you do it too hard, you can actually scar the conductor, and it can eventually break if it's ever moved around, or you got to be light on it. They also make strippers have 10 gauge slots on them, so that's always a thought. So after I got these three stripped out, I'm going to take this, and it's important that you put the ground downward. Usually the plug has the ground on the bottom and the whip goes down. So in an effort to make it to where the plug's not having too much stress by being bent, you want this ground hole down. I always think of it as the L for laundry. So I'm going to take the ground, I'm going to put it in the green screw. We've gone over in previous videos, green represents ground. Now I'm just going to work my way around this. I got a red, that's a hot. The gold represents hot, typically. I'm sure there's other scenarios where it doesn't. So then when I rotate it around once more, I got the silver, that represents white. You really want to get these sank down. Sometimes it even helps if you don't have a good enough drill to just get a big beefy flathead screwdriver and tighten it down just a little bit more. You don't want any loose connections in these. You know, seeing as it has the black and the red, it's a 240 plug. It has two legs of power coming into this plug, so it's represented by a 2-pole breaker at the panel. So, and I should preface this in all of my videos. Even though some of us make light of getting shocked and act like you shouldn't make a big deal about it, you should. If you have any kind of heart issue, anything, if you get shocked, it disrupts the rhythm of your heart. So it's not good, and it can take effect later in the day, even if it doesn't happen right away. I know for a fact that this is turned off. The building is not energized yet, so that's why I'm kind of carelessly doing this. But you should always verify with a pen tester, your multimeter. You should always, always, always try to verify that this does not have power come into it when you're doing an installation. So here, this wire is a little more rigid than most. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly kind of get these bends on it. Maybe I'll get another bend right here. I cannot stress the importance enough of making sure this ground does not wad up and touch the screws. If it does, it'll arc. That's going to damage the wires. It's going to make a big arc blast inside this box. So yeah, really pay attention when you're putting this back into the box that ground is not going to touch anything. That goes for pretty much any device. It's very, very important that you always make sure. So yeah, from there, you got 4 screws. Like I said, this wire is a little more rigid, so you kind of got to just get these sank in a little bit. One by one, you can do it kind of whatever pattern you want. Just kind of work my way around it. Okay, and again, in an effort to make sure that this is going to look level when I put the plate on, it's got the ability to slide in these holes that the screws go through, so I'm going to put it to the right, just because that's kind of my MO. I'm going to slowly get it tight. I don't ever want to over tighten anything, but you do want it to be affixed to the box very securely. So these are especially important in most of the scenarios I've seen. These actually go flush to the box rather than using the sheetrock to hold them out. So you really want to make sure you don't over tighten it. If you over tighten it, you'll probably strip the threads out of the box. And then, you know, you got to assess that and go figure out what you're going to do to fix that, because you don't want a 240 volt plug just hanging there loose because you stripped one of these screws out. This can be a little frustrating because you do have to line all these holes up, but I mean, if you have the plug flush, you can kind of just arrange this to to where you can find the screw holes for the plate screws. You just lightly get it in there. This is a breakable plate, so you really got to go nice and easy on it. It's not the nylon unbreakable. And even though plates are cheap, you're probably not paying for them, so don't treat it as such. Just try to get these nice and tight, but not over tight, or else you'll break it and you'll have to throw it away and go get another one. So yeah, this is a 30 amp 240 volt plug for a dryer. I hope this gave you some insight on how to install one of these. I know it's one of my lighter installation videos, but yeah, just going through the various things I do throughout the day as a residential electrician. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Talk to you next time.